Hello, we're here today with Craig Chartier from the Plymouth Archaeological Rediscovery Project, PARP, I believe it's called, its acronym. And Craig was hired by the town of Middleborough, Massachusetts to ascertain a site that was scheduled for development. And through the process of his archaeological dig, discovered a bunch of interesting artifacts at a site. Craig, can you tell us about the site in Middleborough?
Yeah, the site is called the Muddock-Powhatan site. It's a site that's been known to avocational archaeologists for a number of years. And then fairly recently, a developer wanted to put in a housing development there. And because the town of Middleborough has a bylaw stating that the historical commission in the town gets the right to review projects and determine whether or not they believe an archaeological survey needs to be done, the site was subject to various phases of archaeological testing. The property owner did not legally have to do it, except for the fact that the town had the bylaw. Otherwise, the site never would have been discovered. Basically, what we found when we went out to the site is lots of artifacts, lots of flakes. We had over 250 projectile points and dozens of different kinds of tools, scrapers and pestles and grinding stones and sharpening stones, atlatl weights, covering a period from about 9,000 years ago up to somewhere between about 500 and 1,000 years ago. Probably the most significant thing we found, and this was only because we opened up large areas as a result of talking with the MHC and getting an agreement with the MHC and the property owner to open up these large areas where the house and septic were going. But what we found were the outlines of at least 69 Native American houses. And these are houses that range in size from small houses that we think represent what we'll call wigwamamisas, or women's menstrual lodges, up to these big long houses, the longest of which is almost 60 feet long, and continued outside the impact area. But we found small round houses, regular roundhouse style houses like you'd see at Plymouth Plantation, what are called Putacaucan, and also a number of long houses. So it would be like nisquatos, which means house with 2 fires, or shwishkatos, or houses with 3 fires, so these larger houses. We also found a number of storage pits, which had an abundance of maize, burned maize, and maize cobs, as well as beans inside of them, and some other plant materials as well. But like I said, the most important thing was the house forms that we found. Really, it's something that's never been seen here in Massachusetts, and it helps us investigate the question of what was the nature of Wampanoag's settlement in the 17th century and in the late woodland period? Where are the villages? Does this represent a village? Can we make a strong case that it was a village, which we think we can, because we found storage pits as well as the houses, some of which are spaced at regular intervals away from each other. We found refuse deposition areas, places where they were specifically throwing their trash. We even found some pits inside of the houses that had things like complete Native American pots inside these little storage pits. Or we found other pits that had what we think of possibly ceremonial or spiritual deposits in them that consisted of herring bones and herring scales and pieces of animal bone, like individual pieces of animal bones that may represent totemic animals, and surf clams, which would have come from Plymouth. And we know for a fact from the 17th century records that folks in the Mascot in Middleborough were traveling to Plymouth in the springtime and collecting lobsters. So this is actual physical evidence of this travel from Middleborough to Plymouth. You can see on the screen, this is one of our loci that we excavated. No, now you can see it. There it is. There you go. The top one here, you can see. I don't know if you can make out, but there's small pink flags. Those all represent post holes or post molds. We had about 1,500, over 1,500 of these post molds at the site, and these outline a longhouse as well as another house that's overlooking it, overlapping it. Then at the bottom, there's a couple of different pit features that we had. It's one of the smaller pits on this side, and a larger storage pit where they were storing corn and such on the other side. We had 5 or 6 of these large pits and a couple of dozen of these smaller pits that were inside the houses.
And what are the age of the longhouses and the pits, do you think?
We think they date to the late woodland period. We were finding a lot of arrowheads that date to that time period associated with the houses that were there. So.
Well, thank you, Craig, for your... What was the name of the site again?
Muddock-Powhatan, the Muddock-Powhatan site.
Do you know what that means? Or
Muddock means the shoulder of the hill, and Powhatan, some people think it has something to do with the word powwow, with a medicine person. So We're not exactly sure, but it could be the place at the shoulder of the hill where the medicine people live or something. We don't know.
And it's right near the Nemasket River, which has a very prolific, long history, even paleo history, of Native American people in Massachusetts.
That's right.
And is there more to be studied there, or is that site closed now?
No, there is more to be studied. They still have to put in the roadways. Because of the economic downturn, the project stopped, so it hasn't gone ahead with the rest of the development yet. But when they get ready to actually go, archaeology still needs to be done with the roadways and drainage lines and any water lines that are going in, that sort of thing. That archaeology still needs to be done as part of the project to finish it all up. So there will be some more work to be done there.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.